Fala pessoal, Rato aqui para mais um super bate-papo e hoje com o guitarrista Stoffers da banda de Industrial Goth Metal The Lord of the Lost. Esses alemães que tiveram sua estreia na primeira edição do Summer Breeze, agora Bangers Open Air, né, fazendo também a estreia na América Latina e no Brasil, e que retornam agora para o Bangers Open Air no dia 4, né, no domingo ali, e semana que vem já, né? E bom, nesse bate-papo a gente pôde justamente comentar um pouco sobre como foi essa primeira experiência deles aqui, quais que foram as impressões, como que é a relação deles com o público latino-americano, em específico brasileiro. E falamos um pouquinho também sobre questões de composição, de identidade, principalmente a visual, que é uma das características mais marcantes da banda, né? E um pouco sobre essas questões deles se reinventarem constantemente, né? E as referências a muitas referências também aos anos 80 ali presente nas músicas. Então, fiquem aí com esse bate-papo. Não se esqueçam de se inscrever, comentar e deixar o seu like. E de repente já diga aí pra gente se você já tinha colocado The Lord of the Lost no roteiro pro Bangers Open Air. E se não, né, de repente se já está considerando aí colocá-los. Once again, really happy to talk to you today. And yeah, I mean, we are almost in the mark in the 2 year mark since the first time Lord of the Lost came to Latin America and also Brazil. And curious enough, right? You guys are going back to the same renamed, but still the same festival you guys came for the first time. And what can you tell us a little bit about that first time, the Brazilian energy? How was like this first contact of you with the fans?
I mean, I've had contact before with Brazilian fans because I remember Brazilian fans coming to uh, the very first Lord Fest in 2022.
Oh, that's
So,
awesome.
yeah. So already you had the impression of you guys are insane in a good way, in a very good way. And when we came to Brazil in 23 for the festival and also for I think 2 days off in total, which was really nice. We had some time to be there and to see Sao Paulo, and I remember it being warm. I remember the people as very friendly and welcoming, and I remember the festival as something that it just had the right atmosphere for a festival. First of all, the location is great. I didn't expect it to be in the middle of Sao Paulo, like just in the city, which is kind of a unique place for a festival to be, I think, which kind of adds to the atmosphere because sometimes festivals are just out of the city somewhere in the countryside because there's space for it. Um, but you're in the middle of Sao Paulo and you can go everywhere. And it was really cool, and I enjoyed the show a lot, even though we had a lot of technical problems. But I already said that in a different interview that um, the difficulties were there. However, the atmosphere was way better, just so you could just ignore all that and just enjoy the show because it was a really good show. It was a really hot show. Um, And yeah, I enjoyed it a lot, and we had a good time there because there were also other bands, like people that we knew were playing, and we knew people from like the organizational team and stuff, and it was really cool to just be there and see familiar faces and also a lot of new faces because we've never been to Brazil. And yeah, now we're coming back, so we can say we're back, Brazil, and it feels really good. Yeah.
100%. And from that time, any standouts for you in this whole like first time experience when it comes to your mind? Like, is there any standouts?
Mm, n not necessarily like singular things. It was just a special time in 23 to be on tour in South America, because when we flew from Sao Paulo, we like we had one day, and then flew again to Liverpool for Eurovision. So we it was very very yeah, a very tight plan. So everything that we experienced in South America and therefore also in Brazil was yeah, it felt really special because it felt like almost a holiday, which touring doesn't necessarily feel like always.
Oh
It
man,
was
that's nice. That's super nice. And okay, and moving forward, another one that I have for you, whenever I think about Lord of the Lost, always comes to my mind a band that it's very unapologetic, doesn't have afraid to make a statement, to position themselves. You guys are always so on point in like even disrupting yourselves, either in composition, in style, aesthetics, concept. And this seems to travel in a very like natural flow, and it's like am I too far off, or and is that kind of way of do you guys do things, especially when it comes about yourselves? Is there any moment that it also was kind of an experience, like an inner self experience, a discovery experience there you guys maybe had some struggle, some resistance, or it always felt kind of natural in that sense of doing the things that you guys envision and doing the things the way you guys feel like there's the way we should do things?
I mean, first of all, thank you. That's a very nice compliment to say that we seem like that it's natural to us and that we are kind of disruptive. I think being disruptive can be a very good thing. Um, I think for the for 99% of the time, it comes very, very natural, everything to us because there's, believe it or not, even though it feels so, seems so planned and everything, but a lot of aspects about making music, or the way we make music and how we change visually and sonically and stuff, that's just us going for it and having an idea and just trying to pull through with that idea. And for really the majority of times, if the idea is not too grand, because when the idea is too big, it most of the time it's just money that hinders you from everything. But in terms of creative ideas, we are not limited to anything because we can just do what we want to do because we have all the stuff that we need for making music here with us, and the rest is our creative ideas. And if we feel like we want to record an actual church organ for an album, and it seems manageable, we will do that, which we did for Judas, for example. If we want to write 33 songs and put them on a trilogy album for Opus Noir, it sounds so stupid to do that because these days albums are like 10-song albums. That's it. And that's your album phase. And then you go with these 11 songs and then it's over. But we go, essentially, we have three 11-song albums. However, they are put out consecutively, not too far from each other. And it's, I'd say, a bigger world than just one short album, which it's not to say that that's better or worse or anything, because there are a lot of albums out there that are very short and very, very good. Um, but to us, that felt right. And it was just an idea that we wanted to try. And we are very happy with it. So with us, we succeeded with it for us. The rest is beyond our control when it comes out in a certain way. Um, And I said 99%, but there's always 1% where you're like, obviously we're a band and we're 6 people now, and we um rarely have any like discussions about let's not try an idea or let's try it or not. It's very, very rare, and we are luckily mm, uh not as democratic as some people might think, like in the sense of we can only do it if everyone agrees. That's not what we do. Um, there can be people disagreeing with ideas and um, yeah, things that we're doing, but there's always this trust that, for example, if I'm not happy with something, I have the trust. If I don't like the process, I have the trust that the end result might might be something very, very good. So this is the 1% which isn't completely natural, but still we succeed with it, or we proceed with it, and then we see what comes out after it, and then usually the person that disagreed with it in the end says, "Oh well, okay, it's good." So
Wow.
there's a lot of trust, yeah.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, that's definitely something interesting because although challenging, also kind of gives a little bit of insight about the level of maturity, right, of the band as well, because those parts sometimes are really challenging to tackle.
Absolutely. I mean, we're not 18 anymore. Um, we've never. I mean, the band didn't exist whenever anyone was
Yeah.
18. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, yeah.
We're enough. In in a lot of ways, not in every way, but we've matured in a lot of ways. To be able to kind of sit back and just observe what's happening, and then be like, yeah, okay, it's a good idea.
100%. I mean, 18 only in the face, right?
I shaved.
Yeah.
Might be the case. Yeah.
All right. And still a little bit in this realm, like when I think a little bit about especially blood and glitter and also weapons, right?
Mhm.
I felt like kind of of this a temporal homage to the 80s in some sense, you know, like a lot of electronic synth pop there, even like afterward Chris going wild with his solo project. And in the composition side of things, like do you guys felt that this you already like kind of had a full moment circle in that realm of the 80s, or it was so fun to do so that perhaps in nowadays in like more like recent compositions, you guys still are tackling some of those 80 type sides, effects and general overall genre into your songs.
I mean, I think since 2018 or since 2017, basically, when we wrote Thorn Star, there was the first, there were the first appearances of
Yeah,
80s elements, like, and we didn't even call them 80s elements. It was just like, oh, these are very, I mean, they were very 80s-esque in the way the synths that we used and stuff, and there was heavy usage of FM basses. And that kind of stuck with us. Um, depending and not depending on anything, we've changed a lot since 2018 still, but there are some things that kind of remained there, and it just got more and more. For example, as you said, the 80s touch, or the 80s elements like Lin drums and yeah, specific synthesizer sounds and even guitar sounds. Um, that was something that just got more and more. We kind of try to marry that with the metal aspects that we have, the pop aspects that we have, and to us at least, it kind of worked out. And we we try to put more and more into it, and not. actually not consciously deciding on it. It was just like, oh, that might fit there in the moment, and there were a lot of moments like that, I guess.
Yeah, and it feels like it shows like it's something like really natural. I mean, I can't speak for everyone, but at least I enjoy it.
Cool.
And still like when it comes to the last album and deciding like not deciding like when it comes like to create the set list for it, is there any of the songs from Weapons that you enjoyed the most playing live, or like your maybe your top picks from it still didn't see the live shows yet?
Uh, mm, mm. Um, I never think about Weapons of Mass Seduction because it's not an actual album to me, funnily enough.
Okay.
Um, and we rarely play songs of it, but we did, obviously, because
Yeah.
you kind of do when you release something, you play it. Um, I think my top pick, my top cover, we've never played it so
Oh,
far. I don't know if we ever will, actually.
okay.
Cool though. Um, it's River by Bishop Briggs, our cover of that. That would be a wonderful live song, but let's see what the future holds.
Okay.
Yeah, never thought of that about that. Like, what do we actually play from the album? We play Unstoppable. A lot of covers that we play are on the album, but were made beforehand. So there's this
Yes.
Bad Romance cover by Lady Gaga. I love playing that, for example. Or yeah, I don't know what's on the deluxe version actually. I don't remember. But yeah, for example.
Okay, okay. That's nice. But yeah, awesome. Awesome to hear. And still speaking more into the side of live, playing live, right? You guys are coming back here on Big Ears Open Air, and not only returning, but also having a stage upgrade, right? You guys played before in this smaller space, and now you guys are going to play on a larger stage there. And how you guys are like preparing yourselves to it? Are you like what you can talk about what the Lost fans can expect from that show?
I mean, we have more space, so can we can move around more. That's for sure. And I think we were very, very privileged to have certain yeah events in the past years, like for example, two Iron Maiden supports, like touring with them twice, and the Eurovision Song Contest, that we got really, really used to big stages. And sometimes when you're on a big stage for the first time, um, and I also forgot about the other huge festivals that we were lucky to play. Um, um, when you walk on stage for the first time and it's a big stage, it can be very hard to fill the whole stage and be like, okay, I'm kind of paralyzed to move because it's so huge. Um, we kind of have the opposite effect now, and also not depending on stage size, we will fill that stage, and I can at least to me it feels like that, and I think I can be very confident that we can fill a big stage and that it will be a wonderful experience for people seeing us there, and I think we belong there. And sometimes with festivals, you start out on stage whatever, and we didn't even do that. We yes, it was the smaller stage. To us, still, it felt like a huge show because the atmosphere was wonderful. Now being on the main stage, um, yeah, you can kind of gauge with that you kind of did something right, because whenever you're upgraded, quote unquote, stage wise on a festival, you know that something apparently has happened, something good, and you kind of yeah made an imprint. And I like seeing that. It feels good. And I can only say that we will put on a good show on that stage as well.
Awesome. Yeah, I'm 100% on that and super, super stoked to be seeing you guys live. Don't forget to bring the sunscreen, right? Because based on that last year, it would be like
It's
potentially really hot.
on my to-do list because it's Easter. Today the shops were closed. I have to go tomorrow to the pharmacy and buy it. But yes, it's on my to-do list.
Awesome. And going to my last question for you today, Pi, is a question that we do every time we interview someone because we are creating this live and big playlist within all our interviews. So I have
Yeah.
like three quick questions to you.
Sure.
Um, a song that a Lord of the Lost song, like a top pick for you. Um, a song that is not Lord of the Lost, like is a song that meant a lot to you and doesn't necessarily need to be even on the metal genre, but a song that uh, follows you like through your whole life. And a third song that you recently bumped into, not necessarily a recently released song, but a song that you just discovered and are more into it. And again, not necessarily on the metal genre.
Yeah. Okay. Ooh, that's so I start with the Lord of the Lost song, I guess,
Yeah.
because that's easy. I think for now let's put hmm, it's not that easy actually because I for me I'm like okay let's go for a new song. Oh okay it's not even out yet. Um then let's go for We All Created Evil from
Okay.
20, from 10 years back 2015. It's a wonderful live song. Yeah. Then a song that left an imprint, right? Am I allowed to look something up?
For sure, for sure.
Um, no, the imprint I know. It's November Rain by Guns N' Roses.
Okay.
I started playing guitar because of that song, so kind of
Nice.
kind of fitting. Um, and what was the other thing? Sorry.
Um, sorry, one that's more recently you added recently to
Oh
your
yeah.
playlist.
Right. Um, I will go for. I don't know the name of the artist, but sorry, I will look it up. I have my phone here. Uh, 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 uh. It's Black Velvet by Alana Miles. It's very
Okay.
known. You will know it when you hear it. If you yeah, no one knows the artist. It's just the song, but I love it.
Cool, 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 man. Thanks for that. And yeah, I mean that's what I have for today. I want to thank you a lot for this and your time, obviously. And if it's okay with you, just for us to take just a small quick photo for the socials,
Oh,
and
yeah,
then
no worries.
yeah. So
I can look in the camera actually because I have this weird setup.
oh, nice.
You shake it.
Yeah,
Okay.
done it. Thanks a lot. Have an awesome evening. Thanks again, Marcos. And yeah, see you guys soon.
Thank you guys.
Have an
Bye.
awesome, have an awesome trip. Bye.